Let's dive on into Oregon. Right on cue, we will head into a map that, John, I think we can say favors W7M on paper, as we've said already, but a map that is full of surprises when the teams are looking to kind of bring them out. LFO could absolutely change up the game here, and I think that's exactly why the first operator ban is what W7M chose. Taking that Ying off the board, it really slows down the ability of the attacking teams to just burst into the building, get those Candelas in, and make an early statement. I think for W7M right now, what we're seeing is an attempt to play a bit more of a methodical game just based on their results yesterday.
Yeah, I would definitely have to say the Ying ban is a great example of just removing a lot of strength an attacking team can have in that final execute, especially on a map like Oregon. We saw the exact same thing with MIBR versus Tropicals. When that Ying was removed, you saw Tropicals struggling in the final 20 to 40 seconds when they were looking to get that diffuser down because they just did not have enough utility to create that space. And it's kind of the same ban ideology with the Goyo being removed as well, this time just for the defense. Those Vulcan packs can buy you a lot of time and also make space on the defensive half, but now having that removed, there's a whole lot less utility you're going to have to focus on when you're on the attacking half, but that doesn't mean you're going to be completely limited from having any kind of stall potential. So long as you bring out smokes, plenty of nitro cells, and even the Mira, and she is available, you can waste loads of times on bomb sites, especially like the basement floor where you can bunker quite comfortably while still having all 5 defenders alive.
Well, for all of our viewers at home who did not see the week 1 action here in the Brazil League or need a bit of a reminder, LFO over Black Dragons was an 8-6 overtime win, and LFO pulled that off by relying on a couple of nice Monty plays on Bank. Really textbook information game, a good bit of roam on the defensive side. And let's not forget a handful of hero plays, as we call it. They had 5 rounds across the entire map where they had a round-defining triple kill, where somebody on this team got 3 kills and put themselves on top. I believe Swag had 1, Raps had 1, Fantasy had 2 separate rounds with 3Ks, and Cameraman had 1 as well. So this is a team capable of showmanship, of just explosive play, and that's something that W7M are, of course, going to have to keep their eye on. And as we saw yesterday, when W7M chose to fight fire with fire against Black Dragons, they chose to fight speed with speed and aggression with aggression. Black Dragons were able to pull one over on them and take the win. So W7M, as much as they may be in the advantage, they do need to be careful of what LFO can bring to the table here. So as we begin Oregon down in the basement in laundry and supply, we seek to identify exactly how W7M are going to play this defensively. As you can see so far, a minimal roam, a minimal extension, all 5 defenders waiting down below.
LFO now realizing that after getting a couple of bodies in the building itself can begin to start getting some of those hatches opened up, especially the one over by, I believe it is, still E-Box. And luckily with Daffodil being on the Maverick, they can just completely ignore the Electric Claw that's probably stacked up in that position, while also getting some other positions like the lobby hatch opened up. And luckily for Cameraman, being on the Capitao, he could potentially nullify JV92's position inside of Closet with a well-placed smoke or asphyxiating bolt, just to make sure if they're going to try to execute from that position, it won't be as challenging. And that might be a huge reason as to why they brought up the Wamai ban, to ensure this Capitao will work.
Daffodil just struggling to get that E-Box hatch open, but finally it will pop open with that 1 minute 5 seconds remaining on the clock. They now have an avenue down into the site if they so choose to utilize that. And of course, they still have a bit of utility to chew their way through. First, you've got these mirror windows, right? This is a very tough piece of utility to alleviate on that attacker's side. If they want to push into these positions, they've got to clear out those mirror windows. They've got to force these players to relocate first. Fantasy will start that off with a nice kill, pushing down into Freezer here and taking a good bit of control. But oh my, W7M, they will shut that down quickly. A couple back and forth in Freezer with Fantasy, and 3 more kills for W7M as we saw LFO try to collapse on the site downstairs. The opening round goes to the defense. they start off hot.
And unfortunately, although LFO did have the right tools for the job, they could not deploy all of that utility to stop the mirror windows and a couple of long angles that I believe it was Cicade that was also still holding to stop a lot of the back attacks that LFO were going for in that final execute. Still making sure that JV92 can play quite comfortable inside of that closet position. He completely flatlined that entire laundry push, which for the most part just led to, again, a potential E-box drop with someone pushing down backstairs along with Herds fully committing, or actually not Herds, sorry, it was Fantasy fully committing after securing the entry on Herds. My mistake. But once again, when you're that deep inside a freezer and you have a crossfire to worry about with both in the bomb site itself and pillar, it's just too dangerous to get that aggressive. W7M just having the right tools for the job for that anchor, find a very clean starting round.
Well, I gotta say, it looked like W7M were very prepared for that little cheeky push by LFO, because LFO, while they had a good setup, it seemed that they rushed it a touch. Like, there were still 45 seconds on the clock when Fantasy actually made the move up into freezer. It was like they got themselves in the right spots and then maybe saw something that they misinterpreted as an opening. Just maybe a few steps shy of being properly prepared to go for that take, and well, we just saw W7M punish that. So we go back to dorms now. We head upstairs, where W7M will look to make their second defensive round happen here. And LFO, I think, I liked the pace in the early round. It was nice and efficient. They got through the map and cleared it out well. We just need to see them slow it down when it comes to the execute phase. And oh my, that kill, that opener onto Daffodil is going to make things a bit harder for this LFO team to get going. You've lost your Habana. That is your biggest source of hard breach in this round. You still have the can openers. You still have that secondary hard breach gadget in the pocket of the Capital. But now that you've lost Fantasy down below, this is going to get a lot more difficult.
You only have Raps here trying to play below with those frag grenades. Luckily, Cameraman is there to back up as well, maybe provide a little bit of flank watch. That way there's less angles that Raps has to focus on while playing in this first floor. And even the flashes are used to create some space as well. But luckily, Fellapox can just sit a little bit further back inside of Kitchen and still have that SMG shotgun combination. And more specifically, even having the fall-off point of that security hatch, he doesn't need to get as aggressive as needed because it's already that 5-on-3. So if he wants to just sit here and stall for more time while breaking some drones, he can do so, but it looks like he'll opt to be maybe a little bit more aggressive before making that eventual fall away.
Yeah, you see both Cameraman and Raps trying to get a little pinch going onto this player in security in Kitchen. As you said, that's Fellapox, the next player in danger from this LFO onslaught. He knows where they're coming from, though, and shuts down Cameraman. No problem. No trade there from Raps. Instead, the trade comes up above as Swag will turn his attention towards the site. Raps will now join him up top, but KZ shuts that down. Fellapox with the C4 just to finish out the round explosively. W7M, that's back-to-back victories.
I mean, you have Herds pre-anticipating someone to start their entryway over from that master balcony, eliminating Daffodil on the Habana. Now there's really no chance someone can push into master properly to eventually get that closet wall opened up. They can now use that as an angle and guarantee there's no attackers pushing there in the mid round to cause any sort of chaos. Not only that, but having Fantasy completely by himself, no trades inside of dining room looking in the kitchen, allows Fellapox to also waste so much time against two separate attackers after already finding one kill. That is over half of the attackers just forced to clear out the first floor that isn't even the main force of what LFO are looking to do for that final execute. Just a clean round by W7M, forcing and punishing those isolated plays against LFO.
Yeah, I like that you used the word isolated, John, because that's definitely what it felt like. LFO were taking a couple of engagements one at a time rather than as a unit, and that's why we saw the kill feed kind of populating just one kill here, one kill there, another kill there. The trades weren't really found by LFO. And when you get towards that mid to late round, the trades become even more essential. If you're losing that entry duel and not punishing that and not getting that kill back on the defender, you're right. It's going to be so much more difficult to take the round win in the end. So LFO just need to make a slight adjustment here. Of course, that last round was a bit unfortunate. Losing your hard breacher, losing Daffodil within the first 30, 45 seconds of the round, it's going to get so much more difficult from that point forward. So it was a tough adjustment to make, and they just couldn't make enough of one to pull out the round. But now the tertiary bomb site, the tertiary objective we go. We're looking at meeting and kitchen now, where W7M will make their stand.
AZ gathering loads of info here, just playing by the bottom of those armory stairs. So far not spotting out any drones by main lobby except the one that was creeped around towards garage, but he's still waiting in case someone just waltzes in from that open double door to look for some sort of surprise opening pick, and eventually he'll try to make that decision towards the van, spots no one, and just falls away down in the basement. Maybe the flank later on, but is he aware there's a Capitao playing underneath? Cameraman, a nice opening gunfight, and now it seems like the Solus has gone out hunting just to make sure that no one else is here to back up Cameraman to maybe get that isolated one-for-one trade.
Yeah, KZ's trying to hunt down the Capitao, but, well, W7M, they were the ones hunted down first. Sure, the trade is found, and the opening duel ends up credited towards LFO, but they've made some good progress in the meantime. They've shut down one of the two roamers down below, and now they've got this stage breach opened up. They've got an avenue into the site, and Herds is feeling that pressure.
Minute 15 left to go. JV92, a nice shot, and Herds as well. Denies the case player of, I believe it was Daffodil, still on the Osa, and really, they don't have a lot of options to actually try to push into the bomb site and get that diffuser down. At this point, in a 2 versus 4, LFO, they got to go blind for gunfights.
Watch the flank, though. Be careful. Here comes KZ. There it is, pouncing at just the right moment. Fantasy fried. Raps now getting torn apart, spotted from all the way over across in tower. He'll get that kill onto KZ, but the damage has already been done. Raps against 3. That's one nice headshot there, but low HP and not a lot of options. Flash goes out, working his way around split. There's an angle in tower that he's got to worry about, and there's somebody prone, or rather crouched behind the bench in meeting, and he can't quite figure out where. He knows there's somebody around. He can hear them shuffling, but he cannot win the gunfight. Herds will take it, and W7M will chain 3 successful rounds together in a row. That's a great start on Oregon for them.
And the win condition that round to try and get the diffuser planted for LFO, it had to be Cameraman and Daffodil. You've got 2 sets of smokes by Daffodil and the Osa Talon shields, and the smoke and firebolt combination by Cameraman. Because you had that trade happen by KZ in the basement floor to eliminate the Capitao, now there's no one playing underneath with that primary utility to help create space, and with someone off of that Osa Talon shield, there really isn't anyone to help cover that plant, and like I mentioned as well, an extra set of smoke grenades in case something goes south with Cameraman. Now that you have no proper option to get into the bomb site and plant that diffuser, you've got to go for gunfights. In a player disadvantage and with a huge lack of information, you had no idea where W7M were trying to push you from with such a man advantage. It's been nothing but success here for W7M, and they've really capitalized on every minute mistake that LFO has been making in these attacking rounds.
Yeah, even if it's not a big mistake, even if it's something more subtle, like in that round, once they got that stage wall open, and I will say they did that pretty quickly, they still had a couple of pieces of utility to clear. There was a Kiba barrier from the Azami in their way that they wanted to use those Rotero drones from the Flores to expose and blow up. There was a little more space they wanted to take down below and up above, right? And that little delay, W7M, they used that time to just get fighting. They stepped up, took some gunfights heads up with LFO, just fighting on that breach. You called it out. It was Herds just standing in meeting. It was another good shot from JV92. Yes, the play from KZ down below was impactful, and we ended up seeing the flank payoff later, but really it was the kill from Herds and JV92 just out in the open, in meeting itself, that dictated the rest of the round. It was as simple as that. A couple of gunfights that went the way of the defense, and LFO just could not recover. So far, so good for W7M. They can restart this rotation and head back to the basement. We just saw the timeout, of course, from LFO. They'll be looking to talk things over, and since they know what's coming in terms of the site selection, since they've seen these defenses once before, in theory, we should see them better prepared for this rest of the map going forward.
LFO running the same composition as well, probably expecting W7M to do the same thing like they brought out at the beginning of this matchup, so they'll be able to clear out this top and middle floor a little bit faster, which can hopefully give them a little more time to not rush into anything. Because of, I guess, that lack of preparation to disable those mirror windows, whether it be via regular smoke grenades or just pushing them out with grenades or fire bolts, having those power positions still available to W7M completely stopped that execute LFO were looking to have work out, especially over in that laundry and freezer portion of the basement floor. But now having, again, LFO a much faster pace in this round, maybe that could change.
Same idea as before for LFO. Get Daffodil onto the E-Box hatch as quickly as he can, get this opened up, expose some angles down below, and send some utility in to clear out anything that W7M may have lying in wait. At the same time, you're going to have Fantasy working his way down Freezer, the really crux of the attack last time, where it began and, frankly, where it ended for LFO. Fantasy was able to get a kill and work his way up to that Freezer door, but he could not make any more progress from that point. The difference here for LFO, now they'll be looking to establish that crossfire. Now they'll be looking to get some pressure mounting from the freezer hatch as well. A lot of things going their way, but as I say that, disaster strikes. The nade, hooked by Fantasy, goes through the Maverick holes, the explosion killing 2 LFO teammates. Now they are really desperate here. Herds will take care of Fantasy after, just the worst case scenario you could possibly imagine happens to this attack. A double nade TK. It's just Swag and Raps left alone. Swag on low HP. Little bit of help from this Finka stim, but with only 20 seconds, there's almost nothing they can do against a W7M defense that is refusing to budge. There goes Swag as he is finished off, and the sledge stuck in freezer. No options left for him either. Everybody from W7M is just going to come pouring around the corner, swinging just about everything to ensure they get that victory assured. But my, oh my, John, that was something that LFO really could not have predicted was going to go wrong.
I mean, the shock on our faces as well in our reaction, we were not expecting that either. I think that is a first that we've seen on the Brazilian broadcast. A double team kill with a single frag grenade. I mean, yeah, twice for good measure. We really got to just soak all that in while we can. Even if that nade didn't find 2 kills, I'm not too sure if LFO would have had that much success trying to get that execute going down, because the main reason for Fantasy trying to remove that electric claw was so they wouldn't have to waste as much time getting that hatch opened up. Let's say they're able to do exactly that. You have the Capital bolts to push someone off of that mirror window looking into Freezer. You still have to worry about the highway doorway that's right next to Freezer and the laundry rotate. That's still the exact same crossfire that you could be punished from by having someone funneled down into Freezer, which is what LFO were going for in that execute. Not only that, but if you're also still trying to worry about your laundry players, there's going to be a mirror window to watch that position too from Closet. It would have most likely been a repeat by LFO going for the exact same execute they did on round number 1, with W7M probably countering it, unless LFO could have really been bursting in the frag department.
LFO in desperate need of that reset button here. Just step back, change it up, and try to find your footing again. Maybe the Monty is the right call here. Maybe that is the instrument of their success. Unfortunately for Fantasy,
wow.
And cameraman, it's not going to be the start they wanted. The Monty walked into the building and is now going to get finished off in just the most ruthless way possible. Good Lord, KZ with an, oh gosh, that's got to be painful for LFO. Just takes down 2 players outside, charges the Monty before the support can come in, and just like that, it's 4-0 for W7M, and it is 4v1 in round number 5. 1 round away, 1 kill away from their 5th round in a dominant Oregon so far. Raps will walk up the stairs, and a shotgun will greet him from behind. Nowhere to go, nowhere to hide. W7M are punishing anything that LFO are trying to pull off.
And like you mentioned, Jonah, at this point, LFO, they just have to set. They have to press that reset button, really, going into round number 6. They know what bomb site W7M are going to pick, and they have to just look at what mistakes they did back in round number 3, and hopefully they can adapt against it. The only tragic part about that is they're probably not going to be able to replicate what they did back in round number 3. W7M understand that you could maybe see a couple of smoke grenades being used to plant that diffuser, so they're going to be bringing out the hard counters of that mirror to play for range, the warden as well, and they're even picking a different bomb site too. So it's not even going to be the same ideology of attacking this map, because meeting room is now somewhere you can maybe see a defender roaming perhaps, or just not having to worry about that location as the bomb site itself.
Yeah, we saw them go kitchen and meeting last time. Now they're going kitchen and dining. So clearly W7M feeling confident in their ability to maintain control of every single objective on this map. And we're going to see the final one make its debut here. But keep an eye on this right now. It is going to be KZ, who was a threat in that last round and is looking to do something again. You've got Daffodil right now trying to maybe alleviate some of that pressure, rounding the corner with that Osa shield in front of his face. But at 0-5 right now, really just has not been finding the success that LFO found against Black Dragons. Just last week, again, coming into this game, we said that LFO, yes, they're this unknown entity, but sure, they proved themselves somewhat against Black Dragons on Bank just 1 week ago. 8-6, an overtime win, a hard-fought win at that. It showed that they can hang in against some of the best teams out there, but right now, that is not the case. Opening kill in this round will be conceded by W7M, as it will be Fantasy to claim it, and some control in this round will finally begin for the attack.
Small tower opened up with a bit of verticality by Raps. That does allow Cameraman to get this wall opened up with the exothermic charge. They still need to worry about bathroom, however. It doesn't really seem like AZ has fallen too far back and could maybe get aggressive trying to slow down this attack by LFO. Good Ash charge as well to destroy that mirror window, and now Nade as well has to be a little more passive and maybe even have to worry about someone trying to flank from that green hallway. The only thing that LFO really hasn't looked to secure yet is any of that top floor controls. It seems they're going to go direct beside Swag, getting rather aggressive, but he has no clue where JV92 is playing from.
Swag was all alone. That was a 1v1 engagement. There was no support for the Amaru whatsoever, and that is so risky. Such a poor choice in that moment. Now, W7M, they still are down a man, but with a quick equalizer from JV92, it is still anyone's game. LFO, they've been denied the initial plant, the stop from W7M. Their pressure is more than enough to deny this. You've got the small tower flank coming in from up top, and now with Daffodil, the last player remaining, he's got to find a way to pick Raps back up or do all the work himself. Some of the work has been done as JV92 is finished off, but Nade around the corner seems keen to deny this res. Might see the feet of Raps just then, but no, lets it happen, positions himself now behind the mirror window for the remainder of the round. 30 seconds left. Daffodil denied. Raps on 1 HP, the last hope of LFO on this attacking half. Will try to get the diffuser down behind the protection of the Osa shield. Sticking it, 1 second left, but Nade hears that Raps gets off it and backs off. This little back and forth is going to keep going for the remainder of the round unless Raps sticks this or tries to get aggressive. Here comes Nade, and Raps will do it! Using the Osa shield as the perfect coverage, taking care of that final defender, and giving LFO their first and only attacking victory.
And unfortunately, with Nade trying to use that C4 down the shower hallway, he could not save it to destroy the Talon shield. The only hope that Raps had to get that diffuser on the ground or have a fighting chance in that 1v1 against the mirror while also being so low on HP. Other than that, Nade played that 2v1 perfectly. He realized how important that Talon shield was for the only coverage to get that diffuser down. So he tries to take an early engagement to make sure that he can find a kill before someone can cross that small opening through the breach onto that Talon shield itself. He does it the first time, but has to reposition so Raps cannot take an easier one-on-one engagement. He falls off, allows Raps to get behind the Talon shield, and the rest is history for LFO to secure their first round win. But W7M, a 5-1 split, that is nothing to scoff at. All they've got to do is just win the default bomb sites or maybe, meeting room or dining, and that could still be the match win for W7M unless LFO can pull off some magic.
You're right, John. I mean, when you go up 5-1 like this, you only need to win 2 more rounds. And if LFO can win the expected bomb sites, like the basement site and that dorm site, they still have to go to kitchen or meeting and dining, and they got to figure something else out. Sites that are much more difficult to defend, and W7M should be just fine. So I would not be shocked if we see a bit of aggression here from W7M in these first few attacks as they just try to get this one over with as soon as possible. Or it's very possible that they learned their lesson from yesterday and that they are going to take their time and slow things down a bit. For now, their test will be getting into the building, figuring out how extended LFO are choosing to be. And as you can see right now, there's hardly an extension at all. You did have someone, cameraman, on those back tower stairs, but other than that, every defender is tucked down below, which means that W7M, within 60 seconds of the action phase beginning, now have full control of that first floor and that second floor. So they can already turn their attention to those hatches and focus on opening up those options to approach the site below.
W7, they're aware someone's playing close by the freezer staircase, a couple of stuns to force them back in case there's any utility in that position. No grenades to follow suit. They're going to let the, I believe it was the smoke of Fantasy getting away with his life. And most importantly, those 3 toxic babes he had in his back pocket. The Cade Claw detected, so now the Capitao can utilize his secondary heart breach to get that position opened up. Either that or Nade with his Skyrush charges. Either one will do the trick, and it ends up being the Habana of Nade instead. A minute 20 to go. W7M, they're not in a bad position in this execute, but they might face a similar challenge that LFO had on their attacks, which is, again, these mirror windows and people playing at range, expecting what positions W7M are looking to attack from in this final minute.
Right, the Capitao is that instrument that really could help with those mirror windows, right? You send one fire, one smoke down range, and it will either block the vision of the mirror window or just force the player from behind it to back off. You're seeing that now. The C4 comes out, but it's not nearly far enough. Cameraman, though, he doesn't care. He'll pop up and get 2 on that pixel angle. Raps will tack on for another. It's LFO, 4 bodies remain, and W7M, a low HP JB92 and a full HP Nade, but starting to get picked apart here. Habana will find one, and that gives some hope to this attack. But with the diffuser stuck in freezer, they're going to have to rotate around and find a way to get this on the floor, but it's not going to happen easily. JV92 is going to take this fight and wins it, sure, but now he's lost his only teammate. On 1 HP, 2 of these defenders to find. It's Daffodil who loops around from the blue side all the way from construction and gets that final kill there in E-Box. A well put together defense from LFO. Once again, those mirror windows, John, they are really helping the defense out, and the attack, they're just struggling with time management in the end.
Even when W7M utilizes Capitao Firebolts to try to get Cameraman off the mirror window while also having Herds be gunned up as the sledge, I believe it was, to actually try to kill Cameraman once he gets over near that soft wall portion of the closet wall, he had to worry about the Nitro Cell first. Cameraman timing that C4 toss perfectly allowed him to escape the clutches of the attack and hold a pixel angle, so when people begin to push that barrier, try to get into the bomb site through Laundry, they still have to deal with an angle that can be really enforcing put in the right hands. Cameraman scoring 2 kills completely nullified that attack over by Laundry, only leaving the Habana, I believe, while Maverick as well is also trying to lurk around the map. It left just 2 attackers in one portion of that position each, and Cameraman was already low on HP, and they knew where the Habana was playing at, that being Nade as well. So really well done by LFO, again, utilizing that mirror windows and the rest of their just general passive positions in those final moments just to at least get a round win in compensation against W7M.
Well, 1 round for LFO of potentially many. It'll seem more realistic that they'll get this next one, given that Fantasy will start that one off with a bang. And look who that kill is on. That's Herds. Not only an impact player himself, but in this round, the Thermite, who was hoping to be that secondary hard breach force to help open up this top floor. Instead, now, W7M, they're going to have to make a bit of an adjustment. Their only hard breacher is the ace. It's just Nade with those 3 Selma charges. So if there was any hope of pressuring from the attic side and that games wall, that master side, now W7M they're probably going to just have to focus on one or the other. And in this case, probably just that game's wall. We're seeing the Brava used right now to perfection to work their way into the site and I believe take care of those mute jammers. That way the wall can be opened quicker. John, is that what we were seeing there?
I believe so, yes. Also getting the one by Bolo. That way you can begin to drone from Trophy into the bomb site. Just have a little more information in your back pocket. Good use of the Brava drone by JV92 just to allow his teammates to continue and do their job. An opening being made by another Selma charge as well to maybe have a nice angle inside of Attic. There's JV92. He springs up. The same aggression we saw yesterday now gives him double digits as he makes it a nice man advantage here for W7M, looking to keep things simple and clear cut against LFO's top floor defense.
Yeah, 10 kills so far from JV92, as you point out, John, really starting to heat up. And now LFO's got to be careful. They're down one. They've got to be a lot more disciplined with the fights they choose to take. That's not the case for Raps here as he continues to swing back and forth, but through the smoke, he'll get the kill onto KZ anyway. Fellapox, though, will take care of Raps in response, so still the man advantage in the favor of this attack. The pressure from behind also building as Nade has rotated around and taken up a position in Attic, looking to drop into Pit and force this smoke out of position as well. But playing close on the rotate, Daffodil staying patient and using this utility at the right time. Nade will swing on up, though, and look to get this bomb down. The coverage looks perfect from JV92. The spray, however, misses. Swag able to round the corner and get the down, but it will be W7M who persist regardless. A sneaky play from the Jaeger that nearly paid off, but trades from W7M that were simply too good. They will move themselves on to match point 6-2 right now.
And luckily with W7M still having two hard breachers that allows them to get these nice angles opened up to try to just dislocate where LFO can play in the bomb site properly. And it is a big misconception for some people that you need to have the closet wall completely opened up to actually enter in the bomb site from that direction. That's not the case. So long as you have an angle to hold looking into Attic, you could just plant elsewhere. And that is exactly what we saw happen in that last round. With no defender extending properly into Attic because of that secondary wall being opened up between Trophy and Attic looking into that position, you can have the ace rotate into Attic, and then he plants by that concrete position, that little tile of squares. So long as he can evade the smoke, that's over by either kids or maybe playing a bit closer near that shield in Attic still, which luckily he wasn't really too focused on the Attic player. He knew he was there, but his hands were already tied looking at that opening by the closet and being concerned for someone that could be lurking up the white stairs. With LFO just not having enough bodies, W7M were able to slip through the cracks in the armor that LFO had, get that diffuser down, and still play for numbers. Almost good.
Yeah, playing for numbers there, that was really it for W7M. Once they had that double kill from JV92, they made sure that no matter what happened, the man advantage was maintained. That really was the secret to their success in that round. It looked a lot simpler than it probably was for W7M. They needed to make sure that they were in the right positions to trade their teammates out, because we saw someone like Raps applying a lot of pressure from Attic, for example, and he did find a kill onto the Yana, which needed to be traded. If KZ hadn't found that response, if Fellapox wasn't there to make a move, it could have been a very different story. It's all about those calculated risks that W7M had to take to ensure they came out on top. But here we are, back to dorms, the same site again, and the early pressure now from W7M is headed into kitchen. We're seeing a bit more of this defensive resistance. It's fantasy. No, he had that. He absolutely had that. KZ will get the first, but eventually get traded out by Swag. But look at this difference in defensive philosophy for LFO, John. They are contesting this entry point at its onset.
Different attacking strategy as well. We saw W7M go more direct by Master, but now they're looking to clear out a good portion of the map starting over from Small Tower. They did lose out on their Nomad, so not as much flank watch as you would probably prefer, but at least they force back the defenders so they can begin to push in potentially from that dining side of the map, looking into kitchen, getting those grenades for a bit of vertical. Herds only has one more left though, so it could be used for something a little bit different. when going in for this execute. Felipox now rotating over to the big window as well. He can have a nice cutoff angle in case a roamer ends up coming back up from white stairs. But for now, no one will try to engage him except the Azami, and that's a huge kill found. No more Kibas left in this round unless they've already been placed by Cameraman.
Yeah, funny, as we bring up that discipline and coordination of W7M, it seems that LFO try to break that apart with some more aggression. Doesn't work for Cameraman, but it does work for Daffodil. A good fight onto Felipox, and that will be a good kill to equalize the man count. 30 seconds. All that remains for W7M to make a move. But they are in the right positions. You've got Nade, top white, exposing Swag, the Jaeger. Far too aggressive on that adjustment, though. Raps gets the trade. It's LFO right now who are equalizing at every turn, and Herds and Nade who have the responsibility to fix this. Herds is vulnerable just because Nade is not on the site just yet, but as he comes up to join, he takes care of that last defender on the white stairs. Now Raps is the only one who can stop this. C4 goes up. It's not in the right position, but Nade gets off the defuse anyway. Wide swing from Raps is here. Needs to take this fight onto the coverage. He gets it. Nade sticks it, hops up and wins the fight anyway. Just in the nick of time, he gets off that defuse with 0 seconds on the clock and puts LFO out of their misery. 7-2, W7M, a dominant win, no question at all.
Great adjustment there by Nade as well to rotate up and flank white stairs because there were no more toxic babes. He can kill the smoke and force a 2 versus 1 where Nade had only 1 nitro cell to try to stop that plant, and unfortunately it was a dud. Great job by the ace to clutch out that round, and overall for W7M, a well-needed bounce